from Team Insanity. Normal uploading schedule every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on Sundays is the time that we do like reviews, that kind of cool stuff. So first off, let me just tell you, all of these guns have been reviewed on our channel. So if you're just wondering, this is going to be like a full in-depth review of all of the guns at one time. So maybe you just want to have an Etha review or something, or maybe the rail review. Then go and search the channel for those specific reviews first. This video is to narrow down the search and my thoughts, and we've also compiled some team thoughts about all of these guns up there. So we've been testing these guns for a while now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off. The one gun that we don't have up here that I did test, we do have footage of it. We don't have a whole ton of it on the channel, but we do have a lot of it just kind of sitting in the back. We had the crossover. So the crossover, let me just get into that right away. I think that it was a brilliant gun, but in the price range of all of these guns, it is kind of the odd man out, I guess you can say. These are all $500 or sub $500. And the crossover, what I think was really cool. So if you're really into woods ball, maybe your field isn't that in depth on speedball, I guess you'd say. Maybe there's like sort of like a crappy airball field kind of thing, and you want to play woods ball a lot. You want like a heavy duty durable gun, and you don't want to, sometimes you don't want to, maybe there's new players out there, maybe a lot of new players come out, then switch it to mech mode. You know, it's really brilliant how they did it, to be honest with you. So I actually liked it. It was really comfortable. It was more comfortable than the Etek, in my opinion. I do not like how the Etek feels that much. I'm just going to get into that right away. I don't like the Etek, how it feels in the hands that much at all. And so I don't like the Etek a whole ton, how it feels. I loved how the crossover felt. It was one of the most comfortable guns. I had a little peanut tank on it. It felt really awesome with the peanut tank and the nice grip up front. It felt awesome. I loved it. It was nice, well balanced. I mean, it did kick. It was a normal Tippmann. Come on, what are you expecting? But if you see like a Tippmann crossover online for like 200 bucks, pick it up. You won't be disappointed. I enjoyed it. But without further ado, so let's get into it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from the bottom and go to the top. So let's start off with the Etek. Now, as you may notice, we don't have the Etek barrel. Yeah, sorry about that, Travis. So, for some reason, I don't know how it happened, the barrel got lost in the house, or someone stole it here. I have no idea how it happened. Shaft forward barrel, just pretend that there's a big, long, 14-inch black 689 barrel on there. Just pretend. So, you have an Oops ASA. I do enjoy this ASA. It's a nice ASA, and I also like how it goes straight into the ASA. It's not coming out of the side, say as the Dangerous Power FX. It's nice and smooth and sleek. Really nice, easy ASA. Awesome. Dangerous Power, I think, is the coolest, easiest ASA. So, nice little flip lever. Pretty easy to do. I love Dangerous Power. If you guys know that. Most people hate on Dangerous Power a lot. I love them. Most people haven't even shot like a DP gun. If you haven't even shot a DP gun, you can't talk shit about DP. Just gonna let you know. So, nice little flip lever. The only thing that I wish that they would do is I wish they would come back, redesign this gun, like almost like how they did with the Dangerous Power G5. I'm not necessarily macroless, but I wish they could figure out a way to get the hose, instead of coming out of the side, into the right into the front of the barrel, or not in the barrel, but right into the front of the ASA, sort of right in here. But yeah, that's what I wish that they could do. Just integrate it right in there. I don't know how. Come on, Dangerous Power. Remake this gun. This is an awesome gun. This is just one of the things that I don't like, because as you can see, all the guns up here are straight into the ASA. Notice, back in the day, this gun's only competition was the Etek 3. Okay, so they haven't remade this gun. This only competition was the Etek 3. So, with that in mind, Etek 3's like that too. So, now we're going to move on to the Etha. Another Oops ASA, same thing as the Etek, same exact thing basically. Now the rail. Let's get to the rail. Die, I hate you, and your stupid ASA. My God, I really do not like this ASA. It'll take you, the first time when you go out to the field, you're gonna like poop your pants, okay? You're not gonna know how to work this thing. It is so tiny, okay? This I can flip this on all day long, no problem, okay? It's easy as this, no problem, all day long, that's easy. This, turn it on and off all day, works out perfectly fine. Alright, so let's talk about the die ASA. Honestly, this ASA sucks. Not like the ASA itself, but the on-off lever. Holy crap! Whoever designed this, you deserve to get kicked in the nuts. Okay, let me tell you that right now. I hate this ASA. Okay, if you're a big guy, big fingers, this is gonna be impossible to turn on if you have like gloves or something. Look at how small this little itty bitty lever is that you have to lodge your finger in there, get it to there. It's not on yet. So it's already flush with the ASA, as you can see at the bottom. Now there's no place to grab on except for this little itty bitty thumb thingy, like I don't even know, to be honest with you. And then just kind of like pull it forward. It sucks. It's not that easy. So for your first time playing, if you just take it, you're gonna put it forward, you're gonna hear it air up, but the ASA is not forward all the way. It's only gonna put one shot into it. You have to take it and you have to pull it on all the way fully. I really do not like this little flip lever thingy. Come on, if Dangerous Power can put like this, if you have this huge lever, I'd be way more happy than that little itty bitty microscopic piece of crap that they put on there. I do not like that. Now the Axe ASA, awesome. The only reason why I'm going to put the Planet Eclipse ASAs in front of this Axe ASA is because I had Tuskies one time and it like fell apart in my hands. And the thing is that if you break your ASA, you're really not supposed to fix it in a way. You're not supposed to get in here and take it apart and that kind of stuff. There's really not many user serviceable parts. If you break this ASA in a way, like how I broke Tuskies, I break everyone's guns if you guys didn't know that. I'm like the breaker. But, so, you know, you're not really supposed to fix it, which kind of is stupid and you void your warranty. There's not really many user serviceable parts in this. Empire really doesn't want you going in here and like tearing it apart. I don't really agree with that. I don't like that. If I buy a gun, I don't want to, if I have a problem, I don't want to ship it off to the retailer. I don't want to do that. If I have a gun and it breaks, I want to be able to fix it at the field. What if I'm at a tournament, okay? I can't take off the ASA and say, oh wait guys, hold on. Put the ASA in the box, ship it, sit there and wait until I get it back. No, that's bull crap. If something breaks, like the ASA or anything on the inside, you can, I mean, it voids your warranty. I just don't agree with that. That's the only reason why I put the Planet Eclipse ASAs in front of that. But anyways, so let's move up to the grip frame. I'm going to say most comfortable grip frame award goes to the Rail. Grip frames are absolutely amazing. This conforms to your hand so well. This is the most comfortable grip frame I've ever held onto, or the DMs, the NTs. As you can see, how thin this kind of is. Right in here, it really forms nice. Now, if you take a look at the Etek, can tell the huge difference of how fat that grip frame is compared to this one. This is like twice the size is this grip frame. Me, like the first time that I went and took this, when I took the Etek, from going from the Rail, because I was shooting the Rail that day, I went and Travis let me borrow this gun with the barrel, by the way, and I took it. And I was just like, wow. Even now that I'm holding it, it's just like, wow. This thing, wow. It's like, it feels really bulky. Like, I don't like the feel of this gun at all. Like, this part right here, I hate how this feels. It just feels super, super bulky. I don't know. It just feels fat to me. I don't like this feel right here in this grip. It just feels terrible. It's fat, even compared to the Axe. Even compared to the Axe, it's fatter than the Axe. It's fatter than all of these guns up here. It's almost the same as the Etha. The Etha is like a hair smaller. And I don't, it takes a lot for me to get used to it. I went and shot that for a day, and then I put my Rail in my hands. I was like, oh, that feeling, like it felt so amazing. This gun, most comfortable gun, especially in the hands and the grips. Awesome grip frame, I love it. It's the Dye Ultralight grip frame, by the way, too. The Etha, I enjoyed the Etha. You know, it is a little bit fatter, but it's not as fat as the Etek, but it's almost as fat. It practically is, but it doesn't have, it doesn't actually feel that terrible for the price that it's at. The trigger, and I'll get to that in a second, but it doesn't feel terrible. Dangerous Power FX feels great. I like it. The grip frame isn't terribly fat, but it's not terribly thin either. It is not as fat as the Etek, but it's not, you know, as thin as the rail. Nothing beats the rail in terms of how nice it conforms to your grip right here. But yeah, it feels nice. Feels all right. And the axe. Now, this is my second favorite gun, as in holding in the hands. This feels really, really, really nice. It feels really well balanced. It's just, I enjoyed getting a hold of an axe and shooting it. The grip frame, it's not too fat. It feels really nice. It's not bulky. I can go from shooting the rail and then taking the axe all day, and I don't really notice. I mean, I notice a change, obviously, but it's not like a huge change like going and shooting the Etek. It's not that. It's not like massively huge and fat and bulky like that. That's just like the biggest thing about the Etek that I don't like. I can go from shooting the rail to this all day, or from the FX to this all day. Feels really, really nice in my hands. I love it. Feels great. So now let's move up a little bit more. We're gonna talk about the triggers now. Best trigger award for sure goes to the axe. Get to that in a second. The Etek trigger. I actually like the Etek trigger. It's really, really. It has a nice feel to it. It's not as good as the axe, but it's not bad. I play semi, so I play a lot more semi than I do PSP. Really, any bozo can pick up a gun, any new player, and they'll love the trigger. As long as you can just pull the trigger, as long as it's not stuck, you can get into PSP ramping. It doesn't matter how like you have your trigger formed. But I play semi, so if you guys play semi, you guys can relate. You'd like to be able to adjust the crap out of your trigger, even though I mean some PSP guys do. Me, I can shoot a trigger anyway PSP. Just find that nice little ramping point and just roll the trigger. But I enjoyed the trigger for this. Felt nice, felt really good in the hands. And the FX trigger. My God, this trigger is trash, okay? This is, I did not, and I don't like this trigger that much at all. It feels really sloppy. There's a lot of side-to-side movement in this. Like the Etek, not much, there's zero side-to-side in that. Beautiful, I love that. There's a lot of side-to-side, it's either really too crisp and too hard to pull, or it's just way too soft, and then as you shoot your gun, it vibrates the crap and just starts shooting on its own. And then you have to mess with your D-bounce, blah, blah, blah. I think the two-blade trigger thing that they had going on was really cool, but really, I mean, yeah, whatever. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, yeah, it's cool. For me, not a big selling point. You shouldn't buy this gun and say, "Ooh, two-bladed trigger finger, nice." Meh. So yeah, the FX, don't like the trigger that much. I mean, it is adjustable, but when you adjust it, yeah, I really don't like it. Too much side to side. It's just sloppy for me. Don't enjoy that trigger at all. The Etha trigger, it's kind of like the Etek 4 trigger, but this one feels a little bit different. I don't know if it's how it's set up. It's not terrible. It's not the Dangerous Power trigger bad, but it's not like Axe good or Etek good. I mean, it doesn't really. It feels alright. It feels decent. I mean, you can adjust it. There's no side-to-side play at all. I mean, it's very, very, very little. You barely notice it. It feels alright. Feels good in the hands. I enjoy it. Feels great. But, you know, it's just. I mean, you can adjust it. It's not the best, but it's by far not the worst. You can get used to it. The rail, my second favorite trigger. The reach trigger, it's awesome. I actually very enjoy, really between these two, I actually just like how this feels more. I like the Etek 4 trigger a lot. There is no side-to-side play in this at all. I mean, there's very, very like minimum side-to-side play of this. It doesn't feel that bad at all. I enjoy the reach trigger. I just like how it comes out a little bit. And it feels great. I just like how it's designed. It's great design. I enjoy this trigger. I love it. I play semi with this all the time. This is one of my favorite triggers. Like I said, first favorite trigger is the axe trigger. This trigger is phenomenal. This is like the best trigger I have shot on almost any gun ever. This is an amazing trigger. I love this trigger. It bounces great. It comes back amazingly. There's just the reaction in this trigger is just awesome. It feels so good. I love this trigger so much. Highly, highly recommend. You know, once you get the axe, you don't need to do anything with the trigger at all. Feels great. So, now that we talked about the trigger, the one thing I'm going to talk about now is none of these guns, well, not supposed to, but the die, or the Proto, the rail, the reflex rail, has a purge solenoid. So, if, say, you take apart your regulator and you service it, you don't really have to, you know, you can have this regulator turned up all the way. You probably do more damage to the regulator than you would your solenoid. After you maintenance your regulator, people are always worried about blowing their solenoids, having too much pressure go to it. Well, guess what? Die was really nice, and they put a nice purge solenoid in there. Now, once you get, if you do buy this gun out of the box, if it starts leaking and it is coming from the solenoid, don't freak out and put the gun down and say, "Am I going to get a bad gun? Meh." No, it's not that at all. Just go, chrono it, and if it's at like 305, 310 feet per second, that's why it's leaking. Turn it down to about a 300 feet per second or lower, whatever your field speed is at, right to 280, it's not going to leak at all. But if it's about 305, 310 up, then it's going to be leaking. It's a great feature. So I know Doug's Dam did that out of the box. It was leaking a little bit, but that's because out of the box it just wasn't set up right, and it had a little bit too much pressure going to it. So it was purging. It's not that the solenoid's bad, it's just that it's a purge solenoid. Works out great. So the regulators. Not really going to talk about the X regulator because there's really not a huge, they don't market like, you know, a regulator like, say, the Plain Eclipse Etek. The regulator, like I said earlier, the reason why I don't like the axe, the only biggest thing that I don't like about the axe is that you can't really service it. Okay, if I buy a gun, my God, I want to service the damn reg every now and then. Empire, let me service the regulator. I mean, you can, but it's considered you void your warranty. If anything in the future happens and they figure out that you took apart your whole regulator and everything else on the inside of your gun, guess what? That sucks. You ain't gonna get nothing from Empire. That sucks. Honestly, I hate that. If I'm at a tournament and something happens to the axe, or Doug is using the axe, or maybe if I buy one in the future, which I might, I want to be able to fix it, okay? Empire, what are you doing? I don't know why you did not allow this to be serviceable inside the grip frame and the ASA. I don't understand that. I don't know why you did that. I just think it was a really poor design. They did that with the Mini too. They only want you looking at the bolt. That's about it. They really don't want you going anywhere else, and the eyes, not even much so the eyes. So the regulator, whatever. Now Hyper 3 reg, I'm pretty sure, is on the rail. Great reg. Works really good. This is very, very consistent over the chronograph. I enjoy this reg, really. And the only thing, biggest gripe, if you guys watch the review, is I can't really get my thumb in there that well. And I'm not a like huge guy. I have really, really small, like little baby hands. Okay, and I can't really fit my thumb in there that easy. It kind of pulls and tugs a little bit. I mean, when I'm shooting guns, normally I do wrap it like this, like my hand right around top. That's how they really designed this gun. That's why this grip is kind of right here, is, you know, just to get that nice grip up here. But if I'm running out to a corner or something, you know, maybe if I just want like a really good firm handle, I can get it with that. But sometimes I really just want to get in there and just hold it right by the reg and just have a firmly grasp it. Okay, you know, like in that SpongeBob episode where, you know, Patrick slams the jellyfishing net right into Squidward's hand, but that's beyond the fact. I just want to be able to firmly grasp this, like, running out to the corner. I want to have a great handle on it. I can still have a great handle on it, but for me, personally, I like being able to fit my thumb into stuff like the Etek. The Etha is another great gun. I can really get in there, and I just feel like I have full control. When I'm normally shooting, I'm always doing this. I always have it like this. But I just really, really, really want to have it like this, to be honest with you. And the axe, really love it. I love how it's in a weird way. If it doesn't feel that bad. I enjoy how this is set up. And they spread this out. thing that I hated about the Mini is that it was a Mini. Okay, it was seriously, it was like tiny. It was like for little micro hands, and I had small hands, and I still hated it. So, and like I see, like Chris, if you're watching this video, I have no idea how you shoot your Mini, because I know you have bigger hands than me, and I still hate Jacob's Mini. But anyways, so, and I can actually get my thumb inside of the trigger frame without really like having a crap ton of interference on my finger. Okay, I mean every now and then if I'm going like crazy fingers, I'll brush my thumb. But if I really want to have like a firm grasp, like I do on the regulators, like I do with all these other guns, I can really get in there and I can really get that nice grasp. Even though normally with the axe, this is how I 9 times out of 10 will always hold it. Just wrap my hand on it. Feels great that way. But yeah, that's nice. I just really like how this is stretched out. This is so spread out. I'm gonna try to show you. This is gonna be really hard to show you. But yeah, right where this has like an extra like this much on the rail in the trigger frame. So I have enough to fit my thumb in there. Feels great. So now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna go to somewhat of like the internals, I guess. You have just a normal cure bolt. You can put, the thing that I really like about the Planet Eclipse Etek is that it's backed by Planet Eclipse. So this is like the little big, like the small brother. The big brother is the Ego 11, not so much the LV1, but this is like, the Ego 11 was the big brother of this gun. So you can put any cure bolt in there other than the LV1. I think it's the Cure 5, or and I don't know if they have like a huge special name. If you want, you can put a Cure 4 in there. It's a, you know, most companies, I don't like buying bolts, like aftermarket bolts, because companies spend a lot of time testing and making bolts very specific to make their guns shoot amazing. So I like buying bolts and that aftermarket parts from the company. Say like having like excessive bolts or a Boss bolt. They do not spend as much time testing the bolts and that kind of stuff as much as Planet does, or like the Billy Wing bolt, I think it's called, the B-Wing. You know, they do not spend as much time testing like say Boss does or Etek Paintball does, anything like that. So that's what I really like, is that you know the Cure 4 is already going to work. It's amazing. It's evolved so much farther than like the Hush bolts or anything like that. It's really good. Dangerous power. The bolt is not that bad. Basically the same exact thing. It's not a Cure bolt, but it's not that bad. Now what I really do like is that I'm pretty sure the Etek has it on the Cure bolt too. Yeah. Well, not as much as the FX. I'll show you in a second. But as you can see on the side of the bolt, there's like these little grooves, like these little ribs, I guess you can say, on the bolt. That's so when as the bolt's shooting, this is gonna help your eyes stay like last longer, I guess you can say. It'll help your eyes last a lot longer, because instead of just rubbing on the bolt rubbing on the eyes the whole entire time for cases after cases after cases, it already has a cut spot out for the eyes. Okay, it's a perfect design. I really enjoy that. The Etek 4 kinda sorta has it in a way, not as much as this bolt, which I think is really great. So you won't really have to replace your eyes nearly as fast as almost any other gun that does cuts and mills out their bolt like that. I think that was a great design. Good job, Dangerous Power. The Etha, go watch the review. I'm not going to take out either of these bolts. I'm not going to take out the X bolt, but Etha bolt, go watch the review on that. It is a great design, sort of. The only thing is, wow, it sounds not so much. The gun sounds really like. Okay, I hate the sound of it, and it vibrates like crazy. Okay, this gun vibrates, and it doesn't feel, when you're shooting, like in the hands when you pick it up, you're like, oh, that's nice. And then once you go shoot it, it just has a terrible sound to it. If you guys watch the videos, doesn't sound that amazing, and it just vibrates so much. Like I can't get off of the vibrating on this gun, and especially the Dangerous Power. Okay, buyer beware. Guard these guns from your sisters and your mothers, because they're going to take these guns and use them as vibrators. Honestly, this gun vibrated so much that Jacob had to Loctite the screws on his grip frame, because he was playing one time and he was just shooting. He was on like PSP or something. He was just playing. He was like playing in one of the back corners, and he was just sitting there, just rolling his gun, just dumping paint into it, you know, just rolling it. We might put that video in at the very end, but you know, there he is just rolling his gun and everything, dumping paint in, and you just see in the video, you know, his gun like halfway falls off the grip frame, and then he had to spend time looking for the screws. That's ridiculous, okay? You should not have to worry about the gun vibrating itself to death. When I buy a gun, I don't want to have to vibrate the screw, or have to Loctite the screws. Use blue Loctite. If you do come across that when you buy this, don't use red Loctite. You'll never be able to take your gun apart. But yeah, the Etha, that hasn't been a problem with the Etha. Like, it doesn't, the screws don't vibrate off. I think because they're a little bit longer and a tighter of a screw than in this gun. But that, I don't know if it's like that with all the Dangerous Power FX guns, but that was for sure a big problem with Jacob when he first got it, is once he just first started using it, it just vibrated itself to death. So that's an issue. Now, as you guys, if you guys recall, if you guys asked earlier, what's better, the Etek or the rail, or the FX or the rail? It's like, what do you want more, a poppet or a spool? If you guys don't know what a poppet is, they're not as hard on, they're a little bit harder on paint, and you know, this is a poppet, this is a spool. They're a little bit harder on paint. They are more air efficient though. They take less on maintenance, but they're, you know, they're harder on paint, they're a little bit louder, and they kick a little bit more. But me, I like having nice soft shot, and so when people ask me what's better, the rail or the axe, I don't normally ask poppet or spool, because this thing shoots like a spool. It does not shoot like a poppet at all. When I shoot this thing, I feel like I'm shooting a spool valve gun, which is amazing. So if you're a poppet valve guy and you like shooting poppets only, really, you're gonna get like the best of both worlds. It feels like a spool. Like when you're shooting this gun, this is very, very, very smooth. Okay, unlike the Etha or the FX. I mean, the FX just has vibration, a little bit of kick. Both these guns do. This gun doesn't vibrate. The Etek doesn't vibrate much. Just has a little bit of kick. But wow, this gun is very, very smooth for a poppet. So if you notice, if you ever ask, what do you want more, or if you know, what, you know, I want the rail or the axe, I never ask poppet or spool, because this shoots like a spool. It's very soft on paint, that kind of stuff. I love it. So, but if you want a true spool, get the rail. The rail shoots very, very nice. It has a very nice, smooth shot. I really enjoy this. I've shot some really, really brittle paint, but a month or so back, we uploaded a video. When I first got the rail, it was like 50 degrees out, something like that, and I was shooting like some very brittle event grade paint where I could drop it from my knees and it'd break on the ground, okay? It'd break on soft sand. So, and I turned it into a flamethrower. It was like impossible to shoot. Or go watch the unboxing video of it. I shot that pod. I shot a pod through it. It got off good, but still, it has a really nice soft shot. I haven't had a problem since. I haven't been able to chop a ball really since. I have not, other than really shitty paint, like top of the line shit paint. Other than that, like when I went to Area 51, I chopped a few. That's because the balls were like shooting squares, okay? It was pretty bad. But yeah, the other really cool thing is, and let me just take off the barrel, is if you do chop a ball, guess what? Some people hate putting squeegees down their barrel because they think, oh, if I put a squeegee down my barrel, oh, the paint's gonna go to the very end and gum up the eyes. Haha, guess what? Well, you have a eye pipe. So, the only bad side is that these are very fragile, okay? Treat this like very, very like fragile glass. Don't jam it in there. Go watch the review on this. But basically, the eye pipe, if you don't know what that is, say you chop a ball, it'll just squeegee it. It'll squeegee the eyes. As you start shooting, the bolt will squeegee through, and it'll just clear out the whole entire, not in the barrel, but it'll clear out the whole entire area on the eye pipe, and it'll clean the detents, and the eyes will still be able to read. So, if you do chop a ball, don't worry about it. Not that big of a deal for eyes or detents, because the rail just troops on through. None of these guns have that feature. I think that's an awesome feature. They offer that in all of their really high-end guns. They offer that in the DMs, the NTs, all of their really super high-end guns. They offer that. Great, good job, Dye. I'm glad that you put that in there. The X doesn't have that. None of these guns have it at all. So, good job. I'm glad that they did that. So let's talk about the barrels. Best barrel of the year for the $500 gun. Just non-negotiable. by far the rail. Okay, this is like a dye ultralight barrel basically. It just has Proto on it. I mean, it's a little bit, it's like a tad different. But my God, when I got this gun out of the box from going and shooting my Dangerous Power G4, from going and shooting this, holy crap, this thing shoots tits across the field. Okay, honestly, this thing is amazing. I love how this baby shoots. The bore size is perfect. I think it's like a 6.84 or 6.85. It's for sure not a 6.89. But my God, this thing is awesome. This thing is so accurate. You won't need to upgrade your barrel at all. You don't even think about it. You won't need to upgrade it. Best barrel right there, out of the box, ever. You won't ever have to do anything with that barrel. Best barrel for sure. The worst barrel award goes to, well, I mean, I wouldn't, actually, yeah, the worst barrel award goes to two Planet guns. I don't like shaft bores. Most people don't like shaft bores. 6.89 and a 6.93. Oh, okay. Now, their whole reasoning behind overboring the Etha was because the Etha is priced a little bit below the FX, so you thought they were going to, people that are going to be buying this gun are going to be shooting like really cheap swollen paint from, you know, the fields that are just not taken care of, which, you know, is somewhat true, but honestly, there's no paint. I have not bored paint even close to, I haven't bored paint to 6.89, let alone 6.93. Okay, I don't know where you're playing, unless if they drop the paint in like a puddle and they soak it in like 90-degree water, you're not going to be shooting 6.93 nowadays. Okay, I've not seen paint at all that even close to that bore size. The Etek 6.89, still I think it's a little bit overboard. Really do not like this barrel at all. It is very inaccurate. You know, I mean, if you want, you don't necessarily have to buy like a whole new barrel, I guess you can say. You can buy a different shaft forward back, but if I were you, I would just upgrade. I'd get like a super freak kit, or I'd get a Deadly Winds, anything like that. I just don't like the shaft forward that much at all. It's just too big of a bore. It's, you know, it's just too big for me. FX is a 6.89. It is a 16-inch barrel, so it is bigger than all of them. I mean, that's just kind of, you know, all these are 14 inches except for the axe, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, all these are 14 except for this. This is a 6.89 barrel again. I wish they would come out with, like I said, remake this gun Dangerous Power. This gun came out in like 2009, 2010, and the only competition was the Etek 3. So back then, paint was probably about 6.89. You could probably use that barrel back. Now you can't. So you might want to look at getting a better barrel. Jacob got the Deadly Winds for this. I agree. Awesome. This barrel is not like the best, but it's not the worst. You know, like I said, overboard. You can't really like buy another back like you can with the shaft forward, which is why I don't like that much. Etha, already went over that. Now the axe. Okay. Empire, I don't know what it is with you and your stupid 12-inch barrels. You know, if you're going to buy the axe, just get a different barrel. Just add to cart. If you're shopping online, just add to cart. Just look at barrels, honestly. You're going to need a new barrel. It's a stupid overboard, I think it's a 6.9 over a 6.89, 12-inch barrel. It's garbage. It's not that amazing. I mean, you might be able to play, you know, if you're really pinching your pennies, you can do it. It's not that big of a deal. Jacob played with his 12-inch on his Mini all, you know, since he had it. He never upgraded it. He didn't mind. I did. I hated shooting that thing, but you know, come on, Empire. If the Etha that is priced below you can put a 14-inch barrel on it, even though it's a garbage barrel, then you can at least put a 14-inch on there to make it look like you attempted to put a decent barrel on there. But yeah, by far, rail, by far, best barrel I've ever shot. Out of all the $500 guns, you won't ever have to upgrade it. So, let's go to the feed necks. Feed neck, I really do. The axe is alright, but I like the Dangerous Power feed neck. The only thing is that it does have like some sharp teeth in there, and it does like scuff up and scratch up your loader. I really don't care. That doesn't really bug me entirely at all. I don't really give two shits about it. But it's low. It's nice and low. It's, you know, very, very short. Really clamps on really well. You have great feed necks. Good job, Dangerous Power. Glad you put that in. It's a great feed neck. Now, Etek 4, a little bit higher. the Etek 4 and the Etha, I guess you can say. They're both the same exact feed necks. They're great. They're going to hold on to your hopper. Not as low as the Dangerous Power FX. The rail is alright. The thing that I like about the rail, I'm not 100% sure if, see the Etha, or I mean the Eteks, as you can see there's screws on here. So I know Travis lost his little adjustment, this, you know, his little clamp on his feed neck. With the rail, you won't ever have to really worry about doing that, because to adjust it, you just twist it. Okay, that's how you adjust it. So you don't have to bust out an Allen wrench, anything like that, and you don't ever have to worry about accidentally unscrewing a screw too far and dropping the screw in the dirt, and it just magically disappears and you never see it again. That's what I really like about this feed neck. The rail, love it. The X feed neck, you know, still again normal clamping feed neck, works great. You know, you have to tighten it with an Allen wrench though. It's not that, you know, amazing. I wish they could have done something like the rail, but you know, it is what it is. It's a great feed neck. You can get the nano feed neck. And, you know, since this gun has been out on the market for a while, there is a lot of upgrades for this. So the low rise feed neck is another really cool, good thing that you can get on this gun. Great thing. So now that we went, oh yeah, LPR, volumizer, okay? Two different things. I like that this has an LPR. Anyways, so what the fuck?
Keep going.
Okay, so anyways, volumizer, LPR, two different things. Go watch the reviews on both of these. But great that I'm glad that they have an actual LPR on this. Cool thing. But all of them, as you can tell, I don't like the Etek that much at all. Now the board on the Etek, that is one thing that I do like. The board is good. Now let's get into the Dangerous Power board. My goodness, this has the best board you can possibly imagine on this thing. This board, my God, Dangerous Power, you outdid yourself. The things that you can do in this board is just absolutely amazing. We haven't even scratched the surface with this board. So say you're playing at a tournament and you're shooting 12.5 PSP. You can take your board, can set it up so after maybe 100 shots it goes into full auto, uncapped, you know, just NXL, whatever, as fast as your, you know, loader can feed, just as fast as it can possibly shoot for 5 seconds, or for how many balls you set. So you're just out there playing out there, and you shoot, you know, maybe you shoot 100 balls and it kicks in, and it just goes full auto, uncapped, just as fast as it can, and then it'll go right back to its normal mode, just what you set it at. Board will wipe that entire thing out, so there is, you know, you have no idea that was ever on there. So if a ref goes and checks your gun, it still says that you're in 12.5 PSP. You never shot that fast according to this board. It'll wipe out everything that it did, and it just goes right back to 12.5 PSP. Amazing. And then that's just barely anything. There's just so much stuff that you can do with this board. Awesome. The Etha, like the Etha board. Now, forgot to show you it says it has ego, nice bright LEDs. Same thing with the Etha. Turn that off. So the Etha board, nice bright LED, really bright. It distracts you sort of. I mean, your hand is in the way, but as you're walking, I mean, this thing is really bright. It's pretty. It's a great feature. I enjoy the board. It's pretty nice. Now, let's talk about these two. Okay, when this came out, now they fixed it, so if you buy like a newer axe, like a V3 axe, you don't actually have to take off the board cover on this thing to change your modes. Now, Proto die. Let's take a step back, okay? I don't know what you're doing with your boards, but I can tell you one thing. I do not want to take apart a grip frame, possibly lose all 3 screws, okay, to adjust this. Go watch the video, the review on this. I did it. You have to take off the screws on the grip frame, flick some dip switches and stuff, turn on the board, press the trigger and everything. That's not the bad part. The only thing I don't like is you just have to take apart the whole grip frame. Why do you do that when on like the Dangerous Power G4 or the E1 or anything like that, you hold the trigger, press the power button, and boom, you're in the power mode. You should not have to take apart the whole grips to change the mode. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. I don't know what you're doing. That was dumb. Whoever designed that in the board, you deserve to get kicked in the dick too. Honestly, I don't understand why you did that. It's stupid. That's just a crappy design. I don't understand why you did that. I don't like that. But what I do like is right here. This is actually coming in a lot of handy. That you can see, say right there, how it changes colors. Green means there's a ball in the barrel. Red means there's not. And red flashing means eyes off. So say you're out there shooting and all of a sudden your gun stops shooting. You can tell. You don't have to like, take this down and be like, what happened? And just kind of like look at the side or anything. You don't have to take it down, look at an LED. It's already right there. You're already holding the gun. You can stay posted on your lanes and look and be like, oh, my hopper is jammed because I have paint in the hopper, but it's just not reading. Maybe my hopper is jammed. So you don't have to take it, get posted, unposted off your lane, and be like, oh, crap, my hopper was just jammed. And then you unjam your hopper and go up, and then someone's already moved all the way across the field and bunkered you by that time. So, board, not that cool. But anyways, other than that, my favorite gun out of all of these, the axe and the rail. I just think that they shoot really well. I just don't like the ASA and the board on the Reflex. I don't like how this shoots. I don't like how it feels. I'm gonna be completely honest. If they remade this gun, this would be a lot better. The FX. I think the FX would be amazing if they remade it. Now this is just in my opinion. Some people like the Etek 4. It works every time you pull out your gear bag. Honestly, low maintenance, nothing you really have to do to it at all. Really, really easy to service. This gun, wow, holy crap. Vibrates, kicks, not that amazing. They need to remake this gun sort of like how they do it with the G4. Etha vibrates too much. The only reason why I like the Etha that I enjoy. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm about to leave. But anyways, the reason why I like the Etha is because of the EMC kit. Okay, EMC kit is great. So if you're playing woods ball, you want to have like a double trigger, that kind of stuff. You have that option. That's one great plus about the Etha. Yeah. Other than that, get these two guns. But really, I don't like these two. That's just in my personal preference. But other than that, I enjoyed all of these guns. I love testing them. These are just my two favorite, the axe and the rail. Other than that, awesome guns. You can't go wrong buying any of these. Hope this helps you out. This is, like I said, all in my opinion. Hope this helps. Go watch the reviews. Thank you. Okay, so anyways, I took a second. I walked away and thought about some things and that kind of stuff. Just gathered my thoughts. Just to make sure I took a little break. But yeah, so I just want to say I did clear all the guns. I don't really need them anymore. But I did. This is the thing on this video. Go watch the reviews on all these guns. If you're undecided about two guns, go watch the video on those two guns. Go watch the review on those two guns. The reason why, this is not an in-depth review on all these guns. It's just my thoughts, my conclusion on me using all of these guns. A lot of people just had all these questions and I didn't feel like answering them 30 times in a row, so I was going to make a video about it. That's what this is all about. If you have a question about a gun, how do you maintenance the bolt? How efficient is this gun? Blah, 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 blah. Go watch the reviews on it. Please do not start asking those kinds of questions. If you have other questions that I did not cover in the reviews, then ask them. We did full in-depth reviews between all of us on the team. We did in-depth reviews, efficiency tests, that kind of stuff on these guns. So please, if you have a question, go watch the reviews on all these guns. This is not a review on all of these guns. We already did in-depth reviews on all of these guns later in the year. So please, go watch that before you start asking a crap ton of questions about every single gun. I'm just going to ignore that comment. I don't do that to be mean or anything. I just don't feel like sitting back and typing 30 minutes of comments and stuff to everyone when I already covered it in all the earlier reviews. So now we got that away. I did keep the Etek up here because honestly I do not, this is like my least favorite gun. The reason why is I'm just not impressed by this gun. I really do think Planet dropped the ball. Now back in the day, not really like that back in the day, but it used to just be the Etek 3 versus the FX. That was like kind of your options. Later in the years, like 2010 10 and below, I'm pretty sure. I think the Axe came out in 2011, not 100% sure. But that's like basically all it was. Now that all these guns, all these new $500 guns came out, especially like the Axe and all that stuff, I think Planet should step up their game, okay? The biggest thing that I have about this is that the grip frame, this gun is just uncomfortable compared to all the other guns that I've shot. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel that amazing in the hands. I do not enjoy this gun, how it feels. It's fat and it's ridiculously just uncomfortable. I don't like it that much. Now when I get out there on the field, I just kind of get used to it kind of thing. And I do get on a roll and I do shoot it and everything, but you know, whatever. I do not like how fat this grip frame is, and it's just, I don't know, I just don't like it. The other thing is the barrel. Oh my god, Planet, your barrel. You're good at making guns, okay, you're good at making the Egos and the Geos and all that stuff, but just step up your game with barrels, okay? The barrel with this is, again, garbage. The barrel is just terrible. And the Dangerous Power FX is also a 689 like this. It's not the best barrel in the world either. It is a 16-inch. People are going to ask, hey, it is a 16-inch, so isn't that barrel better? Not really. Length, I mean, there's not that much of a difference in length. The only good thing about having length is if you're playing in the woods, maybe you have that like little extra length. That's the only reason why a lot of people get like 18-inch apex barrels, and like they have the apex tip a little bit out on the end. So if they're hiding in the brush, they can stick their barrel through the brush without the balls breaking on all the brush. And with a 14-inch barrel, you can't really do that. In speedball games, it's not that practical. I mean, you can still use this. Jacob played airball with this all the time, but you know, that's really what the extra length is for, is to take that barrel and to stick it right through the brush, so you don't have to move into the brush and possibly have a ball come flying and hitting you in the face. That's really the whole thing about having longer barrels. I mean, having like 20-inch barrels does absolutely nothing for you. It hurts the accuracy and the range more than anything. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So, but you know, the barrel on the Etek, I was not impressed, and it's super duper loud. Okay, I don't feel like going deaf every time I go play paintball. Okay, I really think Planet dropped the ball on this. But I know people are gonna say, but Jake, you can buy a Etek Hush Bolt. Okay, costs money. But Jake, if you don't like that, you can buy another barrel. Okay, costs money. With the Axe, with the rail, and with the, not so much the Etha, but with those, especially those two guns, you don't have to buy that. $500 buys you everything. You get a quiet gun and you get an amazing barrel. Not so much with the Axe, but especially with the rail. You get a quiet gun and you get a good barrel. Why should I have to go out and buy a $100 barrel kit when the rail already comes with one? Why should I have to go out and buy a Etek Hush Bolt when the Axe is already quiet enough? Why should I have to do all that? Really, I just don't. That's just my logic behind it. I just don't like how this gun really feels. I don't like how loud it is. I don't like how it, I mean, it shoots fine. I do love the trigger on this gun though. The trigger is great. Trigger is amazing. I do like that. I like the oops on off ASA. I like the nice slim profile that it has. The macro line going straight in, which is kind of a must nowadays, but I really think Planet dropped the ball in this, and people are going to say, but it's the little brother of the Ego. Yeah, but you still get a lot more in the Ego. And people are also going to say, I'm just saying what everyone's going to say to me, but just but you can also put an OLED board in there like the FX. Okay, well, by the time you upgrade this thing fully, like most people are going to say, but you can just do this, you can do that to make the Etek work good, like all the people that are going to defend this gun against my opinion. By that time, you might as well just buy an Ego 11 brand new for $800. Okay, they're like $850 right now on ANS gear or something like that. They're pretty low on price. So I know that's what people are going to say. Why upgrade this gun fully when you can get an Ego 11? Okay, honestly. And then why should you also upgrade it when other guns come with other guns that are quiet come with a good barrel? That kind of stuff. So that's just my rant on the Etek. I just do not like the Etek. Now, the Dangerous Power FX. Now, a lot of people, before you even go off and start saying that you hate Dangerous Power and Dangerous Power sucks and blah, 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 most people haven't even shot DP guns. Okay, you can't hate on DP if you have not used their product. Really, I like the Dangerous Power FX, but would I buy one? Probably not. not right now. I think this would be an awesome gun for Dangerous Power to remake. They just remade the G4. They should remake this gun. This would be an awesome gun to remake. Now, people are going to say, but this gun leaks. Jacob only had a problem with it leaking once out of the box. Okay, go back to the review. He tells you why it was leaking. The volumizer and the poppet on the inside had too much oil on it, and it was causing it to leak. So he just dried it up, put it back in, boom. Gun was working perfectly fine, has not had a leak since all season long. Okay, so this gun does not have the leaking problem like the Dangerous Power G4 does. That was one of the only guns that had like a massive leaking problem. This gun, I don't know if Jacob just got a good gun, but it was not leaking. So this is the gun that we got. This is the one that I'm reviewing. This gun has not been leaking. But on that, really, I don't like the barrel a whole ton. I do like, he does have a cool anodizing on this. This is an anodizing gun that you can get, and it is a color. I don't like the trigger. Really, don't buy this gun because you think that it has a two-wave trigger. This trigger's sloppy. They need to remake this trigger like they did in the G4. Like I said, I would buy this gun if they remade it. Right now, back when it was just Etek 3 versus FX, I'd probably buy this gun because it definitely had the board. It had the better board out of the two. But now with all the options, I might buy the Etek over this gun just because. Another thing is, I don't like how the macro line comes out of the side. That's just me. I like having a gun that's just, you know, like this. That it just has straight, there's nothing hanging out of the side, nothing like that. I don't really enjoy this, but that's just my personal preference. Some people really don't care. The ASA, really awesome ASA. Other than that, I mean, the FX, the other thing that I don't like about it is that it vibrates like a living. It vibrates so much. The grip frame screws vibrated right out of this gun because he shot it so much one time when we were playing. He was just playing back right or something, and I was in the snake, and he's just rolling his gun and everything, and all of a sudden his gun just falls right off the top, and he's sitting there holding his grip frame like, what the fuck do I do now? Yeah, so really, if your gun is vibrating itself to death, like if your screws are falling out, that's not good. So I really think Dangerous Power should remake this gun. If they are, good job. Would I buy it now? Probably not, but I mean the board on this thing, like I said, there's just so much that you can do with this board. It is amazing. I'm not upset, I'm not disappointed with this gun. I just think that they could remake it and they could make it better. Now that this is like an older model gun, now that times have changed a little bit and people like those slim profiles, that kind of stuff, and better barrels, that the paint size has gotten smaller, that kind of stuff. They can remake this gun and make it a lot better. That's my view on it. Now, people are going to say, oh, but the Mini is so much better than the Axe. No, it's not. Okay, for people that love the Mini, please, I don't know why you love the Mini. Explain to me why you would buy a Mini over the Axe. Like, I was looking in the comments like a week ago, and so many people were just like hating on the Axe and saying, get the Mini, get the Mini. No, don't get the Mini, please. Now, the reason why is, okay, Jake had to replace like his whole bonnet and like his whole regulator essentially because number one, the ASA will just destroy your tank, right? Okay, it'll destroy it. The reason why is when you have this thing screwed in, the on-off ASA makes it so much easier on all of these guns. The Mini does not have that. I don't know why people say that the ASA isn't that bad. It's pretty bad, okay? Jacob, when you take an ASA and you flip it off, normally all the purge or all the ASA and all the air, goddamn, I can't speak. All the air in the ASA purges out. Sometimes guns hold shots in like the lines and the regulators, but normally 9 times out of 10 it purges if it's in the ASA, but it doesn't in the Mini. So you have to take it off, and you have like whatever your output pressure is on your tank. Say you have 500 psi going into this gun. You have 500 pounds pushing on your pushing on the pin, and when you start taking it out, it's grinding your threads up against the inside in this ASA. So when you're taking your tank, or when you're taking your tank out of your gun, you're grinding and sharpening all the teeth on your regulator, and it's just terrible for it. It makes it super sharp, and it completely destroys it. When he got the Dangerous Power FX, he couldn't use the same reg because it tore apart his threads, and he had to replace his regulator so many times because every time that he pulled it out, all that pressure was pushing and it bent the pin inward, so when he pulled it out, it was leaking out of the pin. Or yeah, out of the out of the pin that's well, I don't know regulators that well on tanks, but it was leaking out of the regulator after that. So to be honest, like, I don't, just that alone, that it destroys your tank rig. I don't know why you would want the Mini over the Axe. And the feed neck, I don't enjoy the feed neck, and the trigger, my god, the trigger is terrible on this gun. Okay, this is one of the worst triggers. Like, between these two guns, this is like the two worst triggers I have seen in my entire life. This is a terrible trigger. Terrible. Okay, I cannot stress how bad this trigger is. It's garbage. Please do not buy the Mini. Now, if you have a Mini already, I want to upgrade to an Axe. Okay, that's my theory. I want to upgrade to the Axe. It's not really worth it. A lot of people would agree. If you own a Mini, most people don't upgrade to the Axe. I mean, I don't see the, you do get the extra length and that kind of stuff, but whatever. Now let's talk about the Etha. I don't have the Etha up here. Really, the Etha, again, it vibrates a lot, and it sounds really weird. And Planet, I don't know what you're doing putting a 693 back in your gun. There's no paint that's 693 anymore. I haven't shot 693 paint in forever. I don't know I've gone to so many different fields. I've shot some pretty garbage paint throughout these last few seasons, and I haven't even had a 690 ball, let alone a 693 ball. Okay, you should not be putting 693 barrel backs in your guns. Okay, I like your theory behind it, but no, argument invalid. There's no paint around here in Michigan that's even close to that size. Okay, so I don't know why you're putting a 693 back on there. So then again, now you have to buy another barrel for the Etha. If you want to at least shoot somewhat accurate and consistent throughout the day, you better think about getting a different barrel. So now you go from having a $400 beginner gun to maybe if you even buy like a $20 barrel. Okay, then you maybe want to change the sound signature because it's loud and it vibrates and it's stupid. Then you get a better bolt. By the time you do all that, then you're in the range of an Axe, and then you're in the range of the Etek, and you're in the range of all of the other guns. It is $100 cheaper, but by the time you like upgrade it, it's really not cheaper. You have to think of it that way. By the time you put a decent barrel on it, so you're shooting consistent all day. If you want to get like a Deadly Winds barrel, you're already at $500 right there. Why not buy a gun with a decent barrel on it already? Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. And it still vibrates. It sounds just terrible. It kicks like a mule. Okay, I really like the Mini, or not the Mini, I really like the Etha as a backup. The reason why I like the Etha as a backup is, you might have, I don't know, say a Geo or a Bob Long gun, anything like that. If you do play woods ball a lot, and you do play in the woods all the time, you can take it and put the EMC kit on it, okay, which is pretty cool, especially if you're like a guy like me, and you don't really have the money to buy like a die-dam like Doug did. Okay, you don't have that money to have, like your speedball setup and then have like a whole nother woods ball setup. If you're kind of like me and you don't have all that extra money floating around, it's really good so you can kill two birds with one stone, because you can't tell me if you're in a tournament you're just going to bust out a die-dam and start using a die-dam as a backup. Probably not. So that's where I like the Etha. It does make a great backup. So say you have, maybe you got a Bob Long gun, you can just take that barrel, put it on there, so during the tournament, if your whatever gun that you're using breaks down, then there you go, you have a bitchin' awesome backup gun, and you're playing speedball, so who really cares about how loud it is and that kind of stuff? You just have to get over the vibration and the kick. That's my view on it. And then later on in the day, if you want to go play some woods ball, you can slap the EMC kit on there and you can hang with the big dogs that have like die-dams and all their special really cool guns. And you have all the capabilities that they do. You're shooting the same exact thing. You're shooting a Milsim looking gun, by woods ball day, and then by speedball day, you can be shooting a speedball gun. I think that was really cool design. That would be the only reason why I would buy it. And the other thing is, if you're playing at a semi-auto field, like I am, when I go play out in the woods, I'm always at a semi-auto field. That's why, I always set it to semi-auto uncapped. And die-damn, only has, it doesn't have like a trigger like this, like a double trigger type thing. It only has the one trigger where you just pull it, and there is no double trigger. With the Etha, you can slap that on there. So if you're playing at a semi-auto field only, you can slap that bad boy on there, and then you still have the double trigger. So now you have a cool looking Milsim looking gun, and you have the double trigger to go along with it. That is where I think the Etha really shines. I think that's an awesome thing if you're looking to have like a woods ball / backup gun, because then you can kill two birds with one stone. You can have a backup and you can have a Milsim woods ball gun where you don't have to go out, buy a diadem and a backup, or any other, or the new Empire Defender, or whatever those things are called. I like that concept. It's really, really cool. I think Planet nailed it with that whole concept. That is how I took it. That's really the only reason why I'd ever buy that Etha. And maybe in the near future I might, just for like a woods ball looking gun, and when we go to tournaments and that kind of stuff, hey, if my gun breaks down, I have the Etha ready to go, and I can have people in the pits checking my gun while I'm out there playing it. That's a perfect concept. And if that's your way of playing, if you already have it, like really expensive gun type thing, that's really awesome deal for you. I think Planet Eclipse nailed it on the head there. But if you're not really looking to get the EMC kit, I think there's better options out there for you, even if you're a new player, to be honest with you. I would probably get the Etek over the Etha if you're not going to put the EMC kit on there, only because it doesn't vibrate as much. This is loud, but the whole vibration thing and the triggers like kind of the same, but it's kind of sort of not, and then it's like the same looking. It's kind of like the same thing, but it's not. It's close. And you can put a Cure 4 bolt in this and go out and hang with the big dogs all day. But yeah, you already know my opinion on that. So now let's get to the axe and the reflex rail. I don't have them up here because I don't need them. So the reason why, I'll tell you why I bought the reflex rail. Okay, the reflex rail. By the way, I know people are going to ask, 2012 and 2013, people are going to be like, what's the difference? Okay, what's the difference between the DM12 and the DM13? Nothing. The milling, that's the only difference. There's really no difference. So if you want to save money, get the 2012. If you don't really care, get the 2013. I didn't really care, so I just got the 13. It was the only one available at the pro shop, so I was like, whatever, hook me up with that. I like that color. But anyway, so I'll tell you why I personally bought the Reflex over the X. The reason why, and we'll just say this is the X, okay? Say my regulator goes down, or not my reg, say my ASA goes down like how Tuskie's did in a tournament. I can't take this apart and service it, okay? Say something goes wrong on the inside, anything that goes wrong that's other than the bolt or maybe the board, you're screwed, practically. I mean, I don't want to have to take my gun and have to, I'm not going to be able to ship it while I'm at the field and sit there and wait, okay? That's just the thing. I want to, if I buy a gun, I want to be able to work on it, okay? So if it breaks and it's leaking from the solenoid, I want to be able to take it apart. That's what all these guns can do. Empire does not want you going in there and servicing it. People do it all the time. People void their warranties and they do it. Me personally, I probably wouldn't unless if I was at a tournament, but that's just the biggest reason why I didn't want to void a warranty and have to put up with shipping it and getting it back and blah, 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 blah. But here's the contrary argument to that side. I see an axe almost every weekend I go play. I've only seen one go down since they came out, so for like 2, 3, however many years that they've been out, many times as I've only seen one go down since then. That was Tuskie's. That was just because, I break everything I touch apparently. It just kind of happens. I haven't broken one gun that I've touched since. Woohoo, I'm on a record. And I did break his ASA. I honestly don't know how. It just kind of fell apart in my hands. But that was like the only gun, to be honest, that I've ever broken. That was like the only axe I've ever broken. And I don't know how I did it, but you can't service it at the field. He was out for playing for a few weeks because he had to wait till the parts came in, blah 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 blah. You just had to put up with that bullshit. Me, I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. Sorry Tusky, he had to wait to play and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to wait to do that. That's why I bought the rail. So if something does go wrong with my regulator, I can at least take apart and look at my regulator and think about what's wrong. At least I can change O-rings and that kind of stuff without voiding my warranty. That is why I bought the rail over the X. That's my reason. But like I said, I've only seen one axe go down in all of the years that I've seen them out, and I see one almost every single day. I saw like 3 this weekend, and I saw a couple last weekend too. I see one every weekend when Doug comes out and plays. So, and his has never gone down before. So, in all honesty, it's like, how often does an axe go down? But me, I don't want to risk that chance because, like I said, I broke an axe. I do break guns a lot. And the other reason why I did buy the rail over the axe is the barrel. Okay, it's practically a dye ultralight barrel, just stamped with Proto on it. Okay, you'll never have to buy another barrel. Okay, you won't have to upgrade the barrel like you do with the axe. I mean, you don't have to upgrade it, but I don't ever see anyone out there shooting the 12-inch axe barrel. Okay, there's only one person that I've ever seen doing that. With all the axes and the minis, you know, you're not going to really shoot that barrel. It's not the best barrel in the world. I mean, it is also a 12-inch, and it's not that amazing. It's not that good. That is also why I bought the rail. I'll never, ever, ever have to buy another barrel. I can service my gun, that kind of stuff, and it's smooth, and it's the most comfortable out of all the guns. The axe is probably the second most. I wouldn't really, you know, the axe is also really, really comfortable. But I also like how Empire has changed a lot as the years have gone on. They've listened to the fans a lot. They have changed the board, so you don't, if you have the first generation, sorry, but if you have like the V3 kind of axes, you don't have to take off this plate kind of thing and to take apart and change your modes on the board. Okay, you kind of have to do that with the axe if you have a V3 or if you have under a V3. Like the brand new ones, they listen to the fans and they said, okay, yeah, we screwed up with that on the Mini, and we screwed up with that on the first few generations of axe. We'll fix that for you guys. Yeah, I really like how Empire has been nailing it, and they've been listening to the fans, and you know, they said, okay, you guys don't want to have to, you know, take off the plate to take apart and, you know, do the whole board thing and change your modes. I really think Empire, they're listening a lot more to that, and they're, you know, their fans and everything. I think that's great. Good job, Empire. You're good on customer service. That's what I think. Now, the rail, that's just the biggest thing. That's like the biggest gripe that I have on it. Now, the ASA, yeah, the ASA, I do rant about the ASA a lot because the stupid on-off switch is just like dinky. Okay, if you have some like monster paws, okay, you're not gonna be able to turn that bad boy on with gloves. It's gonna be a struggle. Okay, I don't know why, who created, like, you have like just a little itty bitty like microscopic little on-off knob. Okay, I don't know what you're thinking. Even like they should do it off of like the Empire Resurrection, or I think even the Empire Sniper, where they have like, they want to do like a knob thing on the side. Like the Resurrection has like a massive knob like sticking all the way down, so you can take it and actually, like, when you have gloves on, you can turn it on. But you know, that you get used to it. I haven't really, you know, thought about it that much lately, but just the biggest thing that I don't like about the rail is just how you have to take off the grip frames at the board. I don't like, what are you doing with that? Like, why do you have to take off the grip, like the grips, and have to take off 3 screws and flip a dip switch and sit there and fiddle around with the trigger and then turn off the dip switch after you get it, and then have to screw in all these stupid screws again. You know, I shouldn't have to take off the stupid grips to change the mode. Okay, and the Dangerous Power G4, I didn't have to do that. All I had to do is hold on the trigger, press the power button, boom. I'm in the mode changing thingy. Okay, I don't know why they can't make it that easy. That's just the biggest reason why you wouldn't get a rail. That, or you just don't like spool valve guns. But it's the most comfortable, has the best grip frame in my opinion, and everyone else loves that grip frame. Nick agrees, pretty sure Jacob agrees. It's just very, very, very comfortable, fits to your hand very nice. One of the most comfortable guns I've ever held. Dye guns are amazing. They feel very, very, very comfortable. But other than that, that's kind of why I bought I have the least to complain about the rail. That's why I bought the rail. I just have the least to complain about. I like spools. I don't know if it's quieter than the axe, but it's really, really, it's quiet, especially from a distance. Like, when I go out there and ref, I heard like Nick shooting it a few weeks ago, and like he wasn't that far away, and I heard it from a distance. I'm like, wow, that thing is quiet. From a distance, it's pretty quiet from a distance. Like, you know, when you're on top of it, it sounds weird, but when you're like 10, 15, 20 yards away, it's pretty quiet. It's awesome. But you know, that's just why I bought the rail. The barrel's amazing. It's quiet. It's very comfortable. The only thing I don't like about it is the board. That's why I bought it over the axe. But other than that, I mean, I hope this helps you guys out. And this was just my opinion. You can go ahead and post your opinions. I'll look at them, but, you know, whatever. I'm still not going to buy a different gun than my rail. I mean, I might in the future. But out of all these guns, I like the rail. I bought the rail for that reason. I like the axe as my second favorite pick. That's just awesome. As you guys can tell, I just don't like the Etek that much. Dangerous Power, remake this gun, and we'll revisit this gun. But I think this has a lot more potential now that this was like an older model. This is like the oldest gun up here type thing. So I think if they were to remake that and kind of change the standards a little bit of it, I think that can be another really awesome gun in this $500 price range. But I hope this guys helps you out. What my favorite gun is. My favorite gun, you guys always ask. I like the rail. I do love the axe too, but I bought the rail just because I just told you. That's why you guys ask. In my opinion, I'm going to tell you buy the rail or the axe over every other gun that was up here, unless if you want the EMC kit. But really, I hope that helps you guys out. Post what you think in the comments below. Go watch all the reviews before you ask all these other questions, but hope that helps you guys out. Thanks for watching. Team Insanity. We out.